I often get asked, how long should I practice singing? And what should I practice when I'm practicing my singing? You should be able to practice singing all day. And as far as what you should practice everything. That advice sounds snarky, overgeneralized, and frustrating. I realize that. But let me unpack what I mean. We're all busy people, and we're also conditioned to live in this checkbox type mindset. Oh, let me get all the things that I need to get done today so that I can do the things I want to do. Check, 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 check. And the danger of getting too far into that sort of way of thinking is that we think more about just getting things done for the sake of getting them done and not experiencing things and growing in the midst of those experiences. If I were to give you a number, like practice singing 30 minutes a day, you might say, well, in addition to what should I practice for those 30 minutes, you might say, well, what if I can't make it that long? Or what if I feel like I can go longer? When we start thinking about an actual time and as far as a number, we miss really the point of actually practicing and what we can get out of it. That leads me to the next comment I made at the very beginning. What should you practice? Everything. Those singers that get too caught up in a goals mindset of like, oh, I've got to make sure and get my time in today so that I can hit that certain note or so that I can learn that certain song, end up getting into a tunnel visioned sort of achievement mode that results in burnout, even if you're only practicing for a short amount of time per day. If you're being legalistic and too achievement-oriented so that you can accomplish your goals as a singer, the same problem happens that I described earlier when we were trying to stick to time. We forget about the value of experience in the midst of striving for something we want to work on or improve. It really is possible to practice, move in and out of different things and different experiences and experiments with your voice all day long. Think of all the ways that you use your voice. Think of all the ways that you express yourself throughout the day. All of these ways can be used, if done mindfully and considerately, can be used to practice your singing, your vocalizations, and how they relate to singing. Every single day, I am taking inventory of how I use my voice. Am I using range-filled dynamic speaking, for example? How does it feel when my voice starts to get tired from talking for longer periods of time? What kinds of things do I do to compensate for the fact my voice is getting tired? What happens if I'm in an environment where I need to shout, or I feel like I need to shout? What sorts of compensatory things, I think that's the right word, am I employing without initially thinking about it to make sure that I don't blow my voice out when I am raising my voice for long periods of time? There's so many opportunities for me to start practicing part of a melody line, experimenting with a way that I might go in and out of a certain line or phrase with regards to a song that I'm working on. In fact, those kinds of murmurings and mutterings all day work their way into almost every cover that I put on YouTube, including this example. I will walk around in your house alone to be roam my room patiently. When I said patiently, going in and out of my head voice like that, changing the notes around, is very different than the way Chris Cornell originally sang. That really came from me walking around the house, picking stuff up that the kids had left laying around, and just sort of halfway thinking, experiencing a different way to sing that line. And then when I got to the point in this song where I was doing it all in one take, I felt more comfortable with that playful way that I approached the line than I did in the moment going for how Cornell sang it. And so it actually brought me a lot of success to pull on how I had just haphazardly or practiced that line without really saying, okay, I'm going to sit down for this amount of time and practice this song. Most of the time, I don't practice songs all the way through. I mutter and play and dance around and do things sort of in little tiny pieces and just become very playfully familiar with a particular song. You can do this sort of all day practicing with songs, but you can also do it with all sorts of exercises. And if you'd like some great exercises to get you started so that you have ways to experientially and freely practice, click the link below and join my free voice course. You will absolutely never run out of things to practice if you join that free course. The next time you are tempted to ask, what should I practice or how long should I practice? Employ this type of mindset that I have shared here. Practice all day instead of setting aside a rigorous time that you have to get to and so you can check off a box. And practice everything or anything. Work on some harsh vocal things. Little tiny bits here and there playfully as you're doing other things throughout the day. Work on singing high notes. Work on your belting voice. Work on your wonderfully developed, comfortable falsetto or head voice. Work on all these things, but pepper it in throughout your day, throughout your lifestyle. I guarantee you, you will be more free and more in love, increasingly in love with your voice if you take this practicing mindset.